Study speak anatokanga wapi Eli, but as a parent when you come home, instead of asking msichana wa kazi, hii nyumba kwani inakaaje, ask the children, hey, where do you want me to sit? Where do you want your father to sit? Can you tidy up? Put back the cushions. If you remove them, you put them back. All right? And create a play area where it's for them. It's their responsibility to get it clean. It's their responsibility to tidy up. It's their responsibility to put things away. So when you're doing this, you're developing the child. You're teaching the child. The child is learning responsibilities of life, because this house manager will not go with them to campus, will not go with them to high school, will not go with them to primary school, will not go with them into the houses where they'll get married. So this child must learn how to be responsible and to take care of the things that they have.
Very good evening. This is Eli Likuyani, and of course, you're right on time for the family edition. How was your week and how is your Easter coming along? I don't know, but let's see. Hi.
Eli, cut.
Okay, take two. Take two. We're gonna do this. Take two. Okay. Let's see how it went.
Study speak anatokanga wapi Eli, but as a parent when you come home, instead of asking msichana wa kazi, hii nyumba kwani inakaaje, ask the children, hey, where do you want me to sit? Where do you want your father to sit? Can you tidy up? Put back the cushions. If you remove them, you put them back. All right? And create a play area where it's for them. It's their responsibility to get it clean. It's their responsibility to tidy up. It's their responsibility to put things away. So when you're doing this, you're developing the child. You're teaching the child. The child is learning responsibilities of life, because this house manager will not go with them to campus, will not go with them to high school, will not go with them to primary school, will not go with them into the houses where they'll get married. So this child must learn how to be responsible and to take care of the things that they have. Hello, welcome to the Saturday evening family edition, and I'm so excited that you could join us. So share, let everybody know we are here talking about matters single parenthood. And now, without further ado, allow me to invite my host, Mr. Drumroll, please, Eli Likuyani. Karibu sana, Eli.
Hello, Nyokabi. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. How are you, Eli?
I got that cue so wrong. That's the problem of being too much systematic with things. I almost forgot I was not supposed to be speaking.
Yes.
How have you been?
Yes. Today I'm the one who is hosting you. So how are you?
I'm great. Ask me questions.
What? Ask
me questions. Can you hear me?
So Eli, what is single parenthood? What do you think is? What do you think? What? Yes, I can hear you. I don't know what's up with your internet today. Today wewe ndio uko na mashida za internet mkubwa. Yeah.
Okay. I'll try to ask again.
Bill?
Maze, I'm so late on my bill, but I'm gonna sort it out once you pay me.
It is the effects of COVID. They are real.
They are real.
COVID. So
and especially for single parents.
What do you think about single parents?
Someone like me, just to answer you, Nyokabi, I know I keep talking over you, and it's because I can't get my words out correctly. However,
you can't be hosted in a show, dude. I'm
trying to be hosted right now. And if you're trying to host me, let me say this. My name is Likuyani Eli, and this, for ladies and gentlemen, is the family edition. So tonight, I want to address the issue of single parenting. And to just demystify this, let us agree on one thing, that single parenting does not necessarily indicate single mothers. Let's get that straight.
Mm-hmm.
So when we
Yes.
talk about single parenting, and that's why we use that word intentionally, we are saying
Yes.
we are addressing parenting in the event that there is one biological, legal, or otherwise that is of an adult that is taking care of a child or children, that in this case by themselves without the help of the other partner that will actually form either the father, mother, or the partner that will help raise a child. That is what we refer to as single parenting. How about in your case?
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, that's exactly what I refer single parenting to be. Is one parent, either the father or the mother, who is bringing up a child or children on their own without the assistance of a romantic partner. And when I say a romantic partner, I mean somebody who you're building your life together. You call your husband, you call them your, it's that kind of a situation. So this is a person who is raising a child or children on their own without the assistance of a romantic partner, because you can be a single parent and yet you have the assistance of your siblings, your brothers and your sisters. So those ones do not apply as a romantic partner. You can be a single parent who your brother is helping you to pay the school fees, your sister is helping you to pay the school fees. So again, you're a single parent because you don't have a romantic partner. A romantic partner is the person who comes into the lives of your children and plays in the role of mommy or daddy, not auntie, not uncle, not cousin, just mommy and daddy. So if you don't have a scenario of a nuclear family where it's father, mother, and children, then you are a single parent and you're parenting as a single parent. Ellie, I'm curious to find out, do you know any single parents within your community?
Well, I know quite a lot of them. And
Ellie,
yes,
is that
Nyokabi, I'm there.
correct?
I'm there. Nyokabi, you have to learn that once you speak out with this technology, you have to
Mm-hmm.
give yourself a breather. Then the other person can respond. Otherwise, no, you'll be biting me all over. Ellie speaking. Now, this is the thing. You've asked me if I know any single parents in my community, and the answer
Okay.
is absolutely yes and true. Reason being, this has become almost the common practice in every community we walk in. You'll find that um, if not someone that had a child before they got married, they are either raising children because probably their partners passed on, or due to separation, or due to divorce. And these are some of the issues we actually looked at when we were discussing about blended families in our previous shows. You can always go back to history and find them. So I do know a lot of single parents, and when you listen to their stories, they vary from one to the other. One will tell you um, they probably got pregnant, and I'm referring now to ladies, before marriage, and the guy just decided to pull an Air Malaysia on them. The guy just went missing, and those are the common ones that we refer to as deadbeats. You've heard of deadbeat fathers. You've heard of equally deadbeat mothers. I know of a case whereby the lady
Mm-hmm.
actually left to go for a family trip, and she had very small children. And she said, "Okay, I'm gonna visit my family somewhere in Australia, and once I'm there, I'll come back after this
Yeah.
period." So they went to Australia. They did their thing, and then came back to Kenya. And after a while, again, they took a trip to go and said they wanted to further their studies. And once their documents are in order, she'll actually come back and take the children.
Yeah.
That was the last time they heard of their mom. And the children were, the oldest was about 6 years or so, the youngest was about 2 years. And now you're left here with a father with two small children who still depend on the mother to actually to be nurtured. And the mother is gone missing. She went, apparently never started her own life there. And then the man was raising the children. So when you look at it, you were wondering, kwani mama yao watoto alienda wapi? You'll see the guy
Yeah.
going all the way get milk, buy food, do all the common chores that they will be helping one another with a romantic partner, doing the functions move. But in this case, The guy was all by himself. So when we talk about single parenting, I want us to understand that doesn't just reflect on the female. The male are equally uh, casted in this big net. And one of the reasons could be that one that I've explained, that one partner leaves and goes to whatever place they decide to go. The other part, Nyokabi, you will realize that probably death, in the event of death, there's very little you can do about that, because this is mother nature, and death can happen at any time of your time of coupleship, or probably the time you're married and you have children, or you are just starting to have a family. For example, you realize people tell you, I was dating and we were just about to get married, and then on our wedding night things went well, and the following day he left to go to do shopping, and that was the end of it. So you cannot really blame this person for being a single parent. So situation kind of, especially with mother nature, this kind can happen. So I don't know about the stories you've had in your cabi, but those are some of the few stories that I've had.
Well, Ellie, I appreciate that because people who are single parents because of the case of death, to just pick up from where you have left, they don't go through much stigma as those people who are single parents and we can never find the deadbeat dads or the absent dads, or we don't even know who impregnated who and what happened. So some of the people who really suffer the single parenthood are those people who had a sexual partner who impregnated them and boom, vanished out their lives. Those are the people who really go through stigma and they really go through a very difficult time being single parents. But in the case of death, I think people are more receptive and more understanding and more accommodating to this family. So today I want us to dive into this topic and talk about how should you raise children
Mm-hmm.
in that state of being a single parent. For example, you're a lady, you're raising a son, how should you go about it? If you're a gentleman, you're raising a lady, how should you go about it? And I have a policy. I normally say that you cannot give what you don't have. I
Mm-hmm.
always say you cannot teach a man how to be as a woman, you cannot teach a man how to be a man, and as a man, you cannot teach a woman how to be a woman. So there's those key things that we can learn for single parents today that can really help to bring up their children, especially if they are bringing up children of the opposite sex,
Yeah.
of which they have no idea how to handle them. So those are some of the things, Ellie, I want us to dive into. But just to
Yeah.
just lay a base on it, I want to talk about a parent who is bringing up a son, a
Yeah.
woman who is bringing up a son. The first thing that I want to talk about, before I talk about a parent who's bringing up a son or a daughter, I want to talk about you as a single parent. As a single parent, you have a history, and everybody has history, but for single parents it's a bit extensive, it's a
Yeah.
bit deeper, it's a wound, because this child is a constant reminder of a relationship that failed, that you thought would succeed, that would go well. It is a constant reminder of an occurrence of maybe rape. It's a constant reminder of an occurrence of a romantic relationship gone bad or
Yeah.
gone sour, if
Yeah.
you might put it that way. So as a single parent, if you're not those single parents who wanajichocha, wanajijaza Eli, wanasema I can do this on my own, I just need somebody to donate sperms for me and I have my children and live my life. We're not in that category. We are talking about the category of people who the relationship went bad. You had a child with somebody and somebody just decided they don't want to be present in that life. I want to talk about the mental state or the emotional state of this parent. As a single parent, you need to realize that your children eat off your emotions. They
Mm-hmm.
know when you're rejecting them. They know when they know when they are reminding you your past. They know when you're reacting in a negative way just because this child is reminding you of something. So let's talk about the emotional state of this single parent, because we're not here to attack you. We are not here to beat you. We are not up here to, to bring you down. We're not up here to stigmatize you. But we want to explain why people always look at single parents with the eye of,
Ye-
ile jicho ya side mirror. One is because of your emotional state. If you were not expecting to have a child and you ended up having a child and you thought that your partner would stick with you and they did not stick with you, it is important that you go through a program that's going to help you to heal from that experience, that you you heal from that experience and you move forward. And I always separate the child from the experience. If you keep connecting the child to the experience, then you really don't enjoy that connection with this child. You're battling with this child, you're fighting with this child, your reactions are emotional, your conversations are emotional. So if you can separate the experience from the child, then you will be a better placed parent to raise this parent. Now, coming down to the position of a son
Yeah.
being raised by a woman,
Even
because
as
people
you
think
talk
that the
about
only
that,
person who
Nyokabi,
needs
yeah,
to be educated about life is a girl child. Even boys need to learn how to be men. Now,
Nyokabi, I
yes,
know
and
I'm interrupting. It's because I got
yes,
some
go ahead.
interesting
Yes,
comments here, so you'll allow me to go through them. I have one comment from Salama Tayu that's watching us from the Facebook group. She says, "I know of a woman who left her 6-month-old baby na kaolewa na mzungu." So when we talk about this, it's not news. It's not news. That is right there on the screen. I know, Nyokabi, you're experiencing
yes,
some delays from your end, but I hope you can be able to catch up. Then there is this one, Lucy Kapumpum, who says, "I'm a single lady raising a son, and I'm tuned in to learn more." I think this is the people you want to talk to tonight, Nyokabi. Let's see who else is here.
it's not me.
Zena says,
Yes,
as a single mother bringing up a son or sons, it's not easy at all. Yani kafikia 14 si mchezo kabisa. When they get to the age of 14, all hell breaks loose.
yes,
That's what she says. So as you address
awesome.
this, kindly remember those remarks so that
Yes,
we can be able, and everybody else that is watching, good evening and welcome to the cast. Remember to share it and invite your friends and equally the male and female ones so that we can be able to have this conversation as a group. Go ahead, Nyokabi.
what's up with my internet? My internet is good. Ellie, is it my internet or is it your internet? I don't
I'm
know what's happening
experiencing
today
quite
with this
some
treatment.
delay. There's quite some delay
Some
from your
challenges,
end.
some
I don't
challenges
know.
also. So I'm wondering,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know why I'm experiencing the same delay on your end, and yet I have connected the right.
Mm.
I have enough data. I
Yeah.
have enough. So let's talk. Let's talk to the ladies who are raising sons. I hope they can all hear me. Please leave in the comments below. Let us know. I don't know why the internet today is giving us a lot of challenges. Let us know if you are following. So let's talk about women who are raising sons.
Yeah.
And I want to refer back to my slogan that you cannot give what you don't have. And you cannot teach a man how to be a man when you're a woman. You need a man to teach the boy how to be a man. And what I mean is the mind of a man works differently from the mind of a woman. The mind of a man works in picture frame kind of a design. It works, imagine a photographer who has a camera. Whenever they want to capture an image, they click on the button that captures and it captures. Cha, 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 cha. That's the way the mind of a man works. Scientists have proven that's the way the mind of a man works. So the mind of a man captures images on how things should be. They look at their father and they capture how a father figure should behave. They look at their uncles and they capture how uncles should behave and how they should relate with women and how they relate with money and how they relate. Now, what I mean is a man who was raised by both parents, mother and father, and they were raised by a father who constantly came home with meat
Yeah.
every day. You'll find that this man, when he grows up and he gets married, every day he goes home, he'll go with meat. And if you ask him why he's going home with meat, he has no idea. He just knows that's the way a man is supposed to behave. Another example would be if you raise a son who constantly watches their mother being beaten. Either he will really struggle not to beat his wife or he'll automatically beat his wife because that is what he knows a husband is supposed to do. I want to give you another practical example. There are men who don't go home early. They believe that a man should not get home before 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Why? Because their fathers never used to get home earlier than that. So when you try to convince this gentleman, kindly you can go home early, you can even get home at 5 and just spend some time with the family, they just don't understand. So men who are brought up by men who participate in family chores, family activities, automatically, when they get married, they take up these trends and do it. Right? Now, Those are men who are raised looking at men and taking picture frames of what they are seeing and capturing what life is about. Now let's talk about a boy child who is being raised by a woman. What this boy child is doing is that he's capturing images of how a woman should behave around men. Now, for example, you're a woman, you're the father in that family, so that means you're the sole provider, the breadwinner, you're the authority in that family. So when this boy child who is raised by a single parent gets into a marriage situation, they don't know how to behave. They have no idea where they stand, how they should behave. And
Yeah.
these are the boy childs who come to our and work. These are the ones we talk about, that they have a woman over them who is ever telling them what to do, what to happen, because they don't know. They don't know where they stand as men and how they should behave. And that is why it is very important when you're a single parent as a woman raising a boy child, that you bring in a father figure in the life of this child who will allow this boy to capture what a man is about. You can use your brother, your elder brother. You can use your cousins who are responsible. You can use your uncles. You can use your partner's brothers and uncles. Let this boy gain experience from this. If he needs to go to the barber, I talk to single mothers and I tell them these are the simple things that breed a bad uh, behavior or a bad trend in this child. When you're bringing up a boy child, I go to the salon, and whenever I see a single mother with their son there, I get very concerned and I ask them, couldn't you have found somebody ampeleke aende kinyozi, let him go to a kinyozi, let him sit, let him see how men sit, how they are shaved, let him experience those things that are manly. Don't impose woman things into this man. I've seen single ladies who go, because I'm a lady and I go to the salon. I've seen single parents who come to the salon with their sons, and anasema because anataka kumengage, muoshe miguu, muoshe mikono, ametengenezwa nywele, imewekwa gel hivi, imepandikwa hivi. Eli,
Oh,
sasa
ulisikia
this
wapi?
boy, he's
Wewe
learning
ulisikia
to be
wapi?
you're wondering, guy, he's learning to be a man or he's learning to be a woman. You have to be very careful when you're a single parent, and it's not to challenge or to negate the fact that you guys go through a very difficult time raising children on your own, but it's just to create that caution of be aware of the gender that you're raising and the
Yeah.
character that you're bringing up. Let this boy know what it means to be a man by involving and bringing in men into the life of this child. Let men guide him. Engage one of your uncles, one of your brothers, one of his uncles, one of his brothers from the side of your partner. If you're still in working terms, allow the father of this child to play a role in the life of this child so that this boy can understand what it means to be a boy, what it means to be a man. Let him learn how to deal with emotions like man. Let him learn how to deal with challenges like a man. Let him learn how to work things out like a man. Let him see another man going out and shopping and doing this and doing this simple things that play a very key role in the life of this boy. And I can see somebody here, Lukuyani, if you could highlight for me what Lucy Kapumpum is saying. She's saying, Yokabi, I will disagree with you that only boys raised by single mothers wanna end up kuwekwa na sugar mommy. Most of them are raised by both parents. Well, in most cases, single parent boys are the ones who, we are raising a generation of men who don't know how to be responsible. And when I talk about single parenting and I talk about what you can give and what you cannot give, when you look at the background of that boy who you're talking about, amewekwa na sugar mommy, if you look at their background, their father did not play a very key role, did not play a very manly role in their life. So they did not have an opportunity to observe how a man should behave. They were raised by either a deadbeat dad who is always absent, who is drunk half of the time, or their mother participated so much in their lives and did not give any credit to their father. Because this is also the other thing, Ellie. You find that mothers are attached to their children. They don't want to let their children know that your father is the one who has paid your school fees, that your father is the one who has put food on the table. They take credit for everything. And they want to seem like, because I'm your mother, I'm the one who has been doing this for you. So these are some of the challenges we are talking about. Not necessarily that you must come from a single parenthood. You can come from a nuclear family of both father and mother and still have this dynamics of not understanding your role as a man, because the man who is in your life isn't
Yeah.
playing the role to effect the way it's supposed to be. Allow me to give another example, Ellie, just to cover this part of boy child being raised by a woman.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, that our generation or the generation before us, those are our parents, they understood the roles of men and women Why? Because they were clearly defined. Especially if you're an African child, the roles of men and women were clearly defined. The man would come out, do his responsibility, men would go together with men, and you find that in communities where men eat together, men do men things together, the roles are not, they are not confusing, and they don't have those issues that we have huku watu wa kujaribu kukua westernized huku Nairobi, watu wa tao, unajua watu wa Nairobi, watu tuko educated, tuko na ma PhD, you know, msitulete, you know, they don't have the issues that we have. These guys who women work with women, men work with men, their roles are so clearly defined. Eli, I know you want to say something.
Yes, Nyokabi, I would love to say something. I mean, the topic is hot and you are having a lot of backlash in the comment section.
Yes,
As we
yes.
get to that, because this is a conversation that we must have, ladies and gentlemen, because we live in a true society and it's good to have these conversations. Remember, we are equally, for the past, let's say, a weekend, so we have been doing a very noble cause that we are raising money in support of one of our own. So, in case you're joining us, let me just bring you up to speed. What we are doing as a community, we are doing a crowdfunding for Mr. Sorry about that. I think somebody decided not to do their job well. Nyokabi,
Yes,
someone is sleeping. You have to fire somebody.
I
Let's see.
know.
Let's see. Give me a few seconds so that we have this sorted out, so that we can have a clear view of what you are putting on screen. Great, we have it now. We are doing a crowdfunding for Mr. Joel Kiplangat Chebusit, who is currently admitted at the Kenyatta University Hospital with kidney uh, kidney complications and of course COVID-19. That is the pay bill number 891,300 and the account number is 46172. You can equally do your contribution via M-Pesa 0791664445. And we are discussing about single parenting. Are you a single parent? And do you know someone that is a single parent? What are the challenges that you face as a single parent? Keep your comments coming in the comment section. And in the meantime, Nyokabi, I want you to address this question that has been raised. You have talked about perfect situations of father and mother. Did you
Yes.
know that we have other complicated, if you want to refer to them as that there's no father, there is no mother. There's actually father and father and mother and mother. And this is a question from Nancy, who says, what is your opinion, Yokabi, on gay marriages as we know them in Europe and of course becoming even more popular in most parts of the world, where you have two women or two men raising a child? How do you handle that?
Why this one? Aki people just like putting me in hot fire.
Fire for fire.
Because Eli, first of all, me, I'm not a believer in the same-sex marriages. Because I'm a Christian. Number one, I'm a Christian. Number two, I'm a follower of the word of God, where God says that he created both male and female, and he knew why he created. It's in the book of Romans. I am the God who created both male and female, and I'm the one who put male and female together. And he says it is an abomination for man or woman and woman. Being that I'm not a Western person, that would be my stand. So I could be biased about my opinion on gay marriages. So I want to just put there clearly. Sasa sijui vile kutaenda, nitatroliwa social media, but anyway, that's where I stand in that matter. But when it comes to where there are two sexes, the same sexes raising a child, again, it creates, they're called dysfunctional families, not complicated, just a dysfunctional family. What normally happens, and I'll combine this question of Nancy with the question of Godwin Segero, who is asking, what do you call those kids that are not raised by either parent, those that are raised by distant relatives? What impact does this kind of upbringing have on the child, especially on boy child? Now, I'll combine the two because they'll go hand in hand together and not to be so discriminative against same-sex marriages. Now, what normally happens to this kind of a child is that, number one, they lose their identity. These are the children who struggle with their sexuality. They don't know their sexual orientation. They don't know which sex is what, and they don't know what role this sex plays. But the good thing about if I'm to focus on the same-sex marriages is that they always have one that is playing a role of the man. If they are both ladies, there's always this one who is playing like a man. She dresses like a man, she's behaving like a man, and that's why I don't understand the whole concept behind same-sex marriages, because they still go back to the original plan of God. You'll never find two beautiful ladies with their heels and their makeup, but they're in the same-sex marriages. There's always one who's behaving like a man, and the same case applies to two guys. There's always one who is behaving like a woman. So there's that challenge of understanding your sexual orientation when you're in that kind of a situation. Understand, when a child is growing up, a child learns through seeing, less of hearing and more of seeing, and they learn things are revealed to them or opened to them as they grow up, as they come to the point. These are the children who struggle with their identity at their teen, because they don't know, am I a lady, am I a man, how am I supposed to behave, how am I supposed to walk? So they struggle with that. And I remember on this question of same-sex marriages, I was watching a clip one time where they are called transgender. So the gentleman had become a woman and the woman had become a man, but because they wanted children, so now the man carried the pregnancy and the lady breastfed the child. So they had such a complicated scenario trying to explain the child, okay, me, I'm transgender, but I'm the one who has the womb, and this one is transgender, but he's the one who is quite a complicated scenario, Ellie. But you see, even with that confusion of the whole thing, again, the child goes through that confusion. The emotional development of this child is a bit challenged, because now women are built, or they are created in tune with their emotions.
Yeah.
Men are also built and created in tune with their emotion, but society and stigmatization and socialization that we go through as an African community, men are not allowed to develop their emotions. So look at this child who is growing up, being raised by relatives, being raised by extended family, or being raised by two-sex families, the same-sex families. They don't know how to develop their emotions, because when you have the ideal kind of a family, the nuclear family of father and mother, you see the role of your mother and you see the role of your father. You see your father handling emotions at burials, at ceremonies, at weddings, at functions, and you see your mother doing the same. So you understand some of these things, you just understand them internally as life is moving on with you without even having a conversation. So look at these two genders who have switched the roles, and there are two women in the relationship, and a relative has passed on. Both of them are crying. Nobody is being stronger for the other. Nobody is holding the other. Nobody is playing the role of the firm foundation. You get what I'm saying? Now we have two gentlemen. A tragedy has happened. Both of them are reacting that way. And because of the way we are built, or the way we are wired, that's the word. Because of the way we are wired, men and women are different. So this child who is being raised by two women or two men will miss an aspect of a man in their life, or an aspect of a woman in their life, which is key in the development of the emotion, spiritual, physical development, and mental development of this child. And it's the same case that happens to a child, especially a boy child who is raised by who does not have their parent. First of all, they lose their identity. Secondly, they lose their place. If you're a boy child and you are raised by your aunties and your uncles, you don't know your position in that family. Because if you're a firstborn, first of all, you lose that position. It is taken away from you, because the family you go to, you find another firstborn, and you can't be two firstborns. So that role is knocked out of your head. They beat it out of you. So you don't know how to be a firstborn, because that has been taken away from you. Number two, if you're a middle child, you'll find a middle child over there. So your emotions will not be developed, your skills will not be developed the same way that it should have been developed. And these are the guys who are lost. They are lost in the sense that they don't know where they stand in the society. And they don't know that because they think how they grew up is normal early. They feel that the way they went through life is normal. It's not normal for a man to grow up seeing a woman doing everything. And I want to go to the girl child before I can see we are on 30 minutes. It's not normal for you to grow up seeing two women together behaving like husband and wife. It's abnormal. And it takes away when you go against what is termed as natural. What you produce is an unnatural product. Does that make sense, Ellie?
Well, that could be the argument. However, people have different opinion of the same, and as Nyokabi put it, that will be her biased observation on what she believes to be how to raise children correctly. We are going to take a break, but before we do that, remember this is the Family Edition coming to you every single Saturday from 9:30 p.m. East African time, and of course now that is 8:30 p.m. Central European Summer Time for those who are joining us for the very, very first time. It will be very in order to watch this cast from the Facebook Live page, which is Likuyani Eli. That's why we can see your comments come in almost seamless. So kindly, if you're watching from any other channel, cross over to Likuyani Eli. That is a page or slash the arts in hearts, and then we are able to see your comments coming in. And Nyokabi, we are going to allow you to take a break so that we address a few issues when we come back. At the same time, I understand and I know there are a lot of single parents that are doing tremendous job. Why can't we just give them a thumbs up for that? That and many more coming after this break. So in the meantime, remember, this is Art in Heart, courtesy. This is our Family Edition courtesy of Art in Heart. Thank you so much.
There will be other competing outside factors that will affect your relationship. Like you have an issue with your partner, the first thing you do, you run to your friends, you run to your sisters, you run to your peers to get advice.
We have weak men out there, and there are men who are weak in all areas. So probably talking to somebody else about your sexual experiences in bed might have been their way of getting the other woman. I don't know. So I will not sit and defend that.
Masculinity is the nature of a man. Do we create nature?
Even as we say that the boy child is under siege, we need to ask ourselves, how have we brought up this boy child that we're talking about? Is it the Kababa generation? As long as it's the Kababa generation, we will always have problems.
Yes, as long as it's the Kababa generation, we'll always have problems. For these and many more of those discussions every single Tuesday on the Men's Den, right here on Art in Heart. And remember, we are having another discussion tomorrow with this guest in studio. Make sure to catch us live on Facebook from 9:30 p.m. East African time, and that is 8:30 p.m. Central European Summer Time. We are back. We are discussing matters single parenting, and of course, before we took the break, there was some heat in the comment section. Allow me to bring back Nyokabi come out the controversial for the night. Nyokabi.
I feel like running away.
Somebody is on your toes, right?
Yeah, there's somebody here who Eli is telling me, so meaning that your son should not learn how to cook because it's not their role originally. Come on, Nyokabi. Let me explain something, Eli.
Kindly do.
That people don't understand. Let me explain something. Men are wired to be men, and women are wired to be women. And when you have this kind of a conversation, people take it very personally, and they feel what a man can do, a woman can do better. No, you can't, because you're going against the grain. You're going against the principle. So you're born to there's born to be a challenge somewhere. I am not saying that your son should not learn how to cook. My brothers know how to cook, but they were raised by a single parent, right? There are people who I know. My husband was raised by both parents, and he knows how to cook. So what I'm saying is this: the dynamics are changing. The goalpost is changing as the society is growing, and as a people we are growing, and we are getting more exposed. But at the same time, the role of a man and the role of a woman must be clearly defined, because when a man's role is not defined in a romantic relationship, those are some of the challenges that we are facing. That women are expecting men to play the role of women, and men are expecting women to play the role of men. So we are in a dynamic
Haki yetu,
of a hard place
haki
and
yetu.
a rock. The haki yenyu, you know, it becomes women are not built to be providers. Let me use a practical example.
Yeah.
Women are not built to be providers. When a man is providing, rarely will you see him having an attitude and an issue of respect and doing nini, unless he has his own problems of his background and upbringing and betrayal and pain from there. But naturally, a man is built to provide and to be present and to protect and to do those things. But when a woman is providing, you become condescending. You become this person who feels sasa huyu hata nilimnunulia gari, you know, hata sijui nilimfanyia nini, ukimwona amevaa hiyo suti hapo ni mimi nilimnunulia, because you're not built to play the role of a man. It is good that we come to terms with some of these things. That is number one. Number two,
Others that if you fight, they will say the way they bought you the boxer you are wearing, after when they
yes,
met you, you are nothing. We know about them.
yes, and they'll even tell you to your face when you ask them something. They tell you, I wear the pants in this relationship because I bring in the money. That is because you're not wired to play the role of men, right? Men bring in women into their homes and they start saying, this is my house, this is my seat, this, and a normal man will never tell you that this is your seat, you bought it when I was there. No, they will never. But mwanamke akinunua kijiko kwake, everybody will
ask me about it.
Yes. So I'm just saying that those things that are for men, let them be left for men. Those things that are for women, let them be left for women, so that that balance can be struck in relationships. That's all I'm saying. And there are some things that you need to learn. And I like that she's challenging the fact that she's saying that it is old-fashioned for men to hang out with men and women to hang out with men. But let me ask you, what do women know about men? What do we know about men? What can I teach you, Ellie, about being a man? Honestly,
well, most of the time there is a lot of misconception. You see,
yeah.
and that's one thing that actually some of the viewers are actually pointing out in the, and I want us to have this discussion. The 30 of you that are watching, kindly share the link. Let's have more people discussing this with us, because I mean, we cannot answer each and every question, but let's have this discussion. Nyokabi, allow me to bring more comments from the comment section and equally respond to what Godi said earlier on about being raised with distant relatives. You know, as we said earlier, the dynamics could be different, and being in a position that is beyond your control has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with that situation. And for me, I believe this kind of situation should give us even more drive force to be better. If you look at people that are very smart and they were determined to go beyond their challenges that they face as young people or as children, you realize most of them, they had very compromising backgrounds. They didn't have it all, so their success is equally to prove themselves. And those are the kind of people, they are sometimes they're not really, I wouldn't say they want too much from life, but they take a lot from life because they want to prove themselves. So it could be a plus and a negative in one way or another. But my observation is there is nothing wrong being raised with a relative or distant relatives, especially if the dynamics did not put you in a position to enjoy the father and the mother in your life. Allow me to take, let's see what Susie says. Why do many people say that kids raised by a single mom are very naughty? Me personally, I don't agree with it. By the way, I wonder why. Nyokabi.
Because of the issue of authority. And I said the issue of authority, what can I say about authority? Authority is a God-given kind of thing, if I may explain it that way. Children who are raised by mothers, mothers are nurturers. There are people who are cuddlers, they are lovers, they are huggers. So even when they put their foot down, rarely will that child feel intimidated or scared. They'll always go like, but mom, si unajua tu mom, you know,
Mhm.
and mothers are soft-hearted. So when the baby comes to you and tells you, oh, mommy, you cooperate. I know you've seen it early with your wife. You just find yourself cooperating with these children. But men have an authority that is God-given. A child who comes from a place, especially where a father understands who he is in that family and is playing the role, you can always tell those people always end up being very, very productive people in the society because they understand authority. Baba yako akisema hapana ni hapana. These are the children who are threatened and told, wewe ngojea baba yako akuje ujue vile utafanya, ujue vile utaona. So they learn how to fear. They learn how to respect authority. They learn how to perceive authority because even the way a man is built is not the same way a woman is built. A man is built in a way that the posture portrays and distributes authority, especially a man who understands who he is. The deepness of his voice commands authority. It demands respect. You know, the roles that he plays, it demands respect. And when you see with single mothers, that command, that authority, that authoritative stamp kind of becomes a bit vague. You know, it becomes a bit challenging to bring out in a single parent example. Now, I want to give you an example, Ellie, because I was raised by a single parent.
Oh.
When I got married, being that I'm raised by a single parent, did I say that I was raised by a single parent? I did not understand what role, I did not understand authority. And it's not because I am an indisciplined child. I am a very disciplined child. I was brought up by military style. Tulikuwa tunachapwa anakuchapa akuue, you know, it crossed over to the abuse line. But so I understood authority, but from a very different angle. I had not understood authority from a man kind of angle. So when I got married, because I was raised by a single mother, I had my own opinions. I had my voice. I had my way of doing things. But I got to a place I realized, haya, this dude, akisema hatuendi Nakuru, you know, and throwing a tantrum and packing and, you know, and actually going to Nakuru isn't going to change that position. So I had to learn how to respect that authority. And it took a minute, Ellie. I had to learn that the door is none of my business to close it. Because if somebody was to come in, what am I supposed to do? Do I come out with my hairbrush going like, oh, wewe, toka nje, toka nje.
Nitakuchapa
You see what I'm
wewe,
talking about?
hebu toka
Nitakuchapa
hapa,
wewe.
unanijua mimi ni nani?
My point exactly. So you begin to understand authority from a different angle. You begin to understand that there's a key role of authority that a man brings into a relationship that isn't there with single mothers. You get? So you see some of these things, some of these decisions, some of these ways you'll find that I want to drive. When you go somewhere, I want to drive. And then I realize the society looks at you funny. I wonder, sasa huyu kwa nini amebeba bona yake? You know, and I found that when we were doing the wedding, I could not stand
Next time
anywhere.
they ask you, why are you carrying your husband? Say, I've been doing it for the last 10 years.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do to
I've been
me?
doing it for the
Anyway,
last 10 years. I've been carrying him for the last 10 years. Achana na mimi.
Eli, that is a Wednesday show. Wacha kuleta mambo ya Wednesday hapa kwa family edition. Sasa
Watoto wamelala. Okay, sorry.
tumekaa hapa. Mimi nimesimama hii side. Apparently unakaanga hii side ya left ndio if anything anaweza kuprotect na mkono ya right. So you understand some of these things. When we talk about single mothers, Aki, it's really important that they understand that it's very important for your parents to have a father figure in their life, to understand key things, to understand authority, to develop that part of their emotions and their ment, to understand that si lazima nijifixie bulb. When you become Miss Independent, ukishindana na mwanaume you lose, by the way. Ati wewe ni Miss Independent, unakuja hapo, oh, hiyo bulb imechomeka, unapanda juu, unatoa, unafix. Next time the dude will just look at you like this. So why are you not fixing? Na ukianguka hapo hata atakuchukua because uko na kiherehere.
I know that I can attest to that kwa sababu mimi najua kuna mtu huwa anasumbuana na screwdriver. Anashangaa now.
Yes.
As you say, then you start wondering who is wearing the pants in this house. But then again, sorry for another day. There's a lot of comments, and I would love for us to equally engage this, Nyokabi. I know you have so much to say, but let's also get to know what people are exchanging in the comment section. Hey, na leo umepelekwa mbio Nyokabi. Nyokabi, I don't have any relatives to play a father figure nor a friend.
Why?
You should hire me. If I'm not with
Yeah.
my son, he will be with my mother. He's 10, and through the 10 years, he has been with my mother, and trying hard to be. I'm trying hard before he gets to teen akuwe na father figure. For now, I can't help because sina option. I am here. That's why we are here in the men's den every Tuesday with Gilbert Makomere and of course with James to help out, discuss some of the things and how men can get involved in this generation. Again, I'll come to this comment. I think you should discuss about the roles next time, because these men want us to keep in 50-50. But what is it that we're talking about 50-50? Is it just about the money? Because most of the time when we talk about 50-50, people immediately bring in the money option. Yes. Nyokabi?
You see what I'm talking about, Ellie?
Yeah.
What do you mean by 50-50? A relationship cannot work because you're bringing in 50-50. And there's a time that you mentioned, and I said there's non-monetary value or non-monetary contribution that a woman brings into the relationship.
Yeah.
And there's a monetary contribution that a man brings into the relationship, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And what I normally say when it comes to contribution and these roles, when they are clearly defined, families function the way they're supposed to function. Imagine you want 50-50. What I normally tell men who want 50-50, I tell them, you want 50-50? Okay, I will bring in my 50%. I will go out there, make money, and bring. We take the bills together. Now, you will go to the kitchen. I will wash the dishes on Tuesday. You wash on Wednesday. I will wash the children on Monday. You wash them on Tuesday. I will iron their clothes in the morning. You clothe them and take them to school, because that's the 50-50 you're talking about. So there is non-monetary value that a woman brings into a relationship that is very key. That men who are not bright, to try and be polite because it's a family edition, men who are not bright are missing the mark, because the non-monetary value that a spouse or a partner brings into the relationship is very key, is what helps you to function the way you function. It takes away some of the worries and some of the concerns that you would naturally have if this partner was not there. So what you need to do with this kind of a partner, just to give them a key, just to answer that question, then let them participate in the household chores the same way they want you to participate in the financial chores. What will happen is that this partner will realize, I can't do this. I can't wash the bathroom. I can't polish the shoes. I can't organize the house. I can't fold the clothes. I can't put them away. I can't know where the spoons and the knives are. Then they'll begin to know the impact and the value that a woman brings into their life that is non-monetary value. Again, these are conversations that we said on our Wednesday edition, that these are hard conversations and hard questions that you have when you're dating. What is your understanding of the role of the man in this relationship? What is your understanding of the role of the woman in this relationship? So those are some of the dynamics we talk about on our Wednesday edition. Turudi kwa single parenting. Today we are talking about single parenting. Ninaona kuna mtu hapa amesema, Eli.
Yeah. Bring the first word, then I'll be able to get it on the screen.
Somebody is saying that gender roles changes from one.
Yes, that is Catherine who says
yes, Catherine
that,
is saying that
with
gender
time,
roles change
from one generation to the other. You know, over time, the roles have been
gender
changing.
roles change from time. No, they don't. No.
Okay, they remain as they are.
No, they are consistent as it can get. There are things that never change. The man is the man, the woman is the woman. Hata ukipata PhD ama upate masters ama ununue Range Rover Sports hivyo ama uendeshe Mercedes Benz S class or a G, the roles remain.
Saranjojo says nobody wouldn't want to put their children in a position of being raised by a single
parent. Nobody
would
want to put their children in a position of being raised by a single parent. As for those of the same gender relationships, I think they shouldn't even think of raising a child, let alone having one. This is a very difficult situation for them. My thoughts. I agree with you, Sarah, that those people of the same gender, I think they shouldn't raise a child because they're going to confuse this child. But I like what she's saying. Ellie, she's saying that nobody wants to put their child in a position of being raised by a single parent. So it's a situation that you find yourself with. And that's why at the beginning of this show, we talked about the emotional backlog that comes with being a single parent and dealing with it and getting to a place where you have a healthy understanding of why you're a single parent. So single mothers, please allow your children to have access with the father, even if ni jambazi, acha mtoto ajue babake. I agree with you, Zena. Let children know their fathers and let them connect with their fathers. I'm talking from experience. I have been a single mother for 10 years now, and I have denied them access to their father. Please let them have access. Again, separate the child from the situation. Just separate the child from the challenges that you're going through. Allow this child to know their father. Allow them to interact. Some singles mom overprotect their overprotect their children and spoil children without knowing. Very true. Very true. That also happens. But then again, we've talked about disciplining children. We've talked about authority, being an authority to your child, more of being an authority to your child than being a parent. Here at Likuyani, Heart in Heart. So you can find the videos, they're out there. We've also talked about that. Another comment, Ellie. So men expect us to pay bills equally, lakini they want to be the head of the family. Hata sisi tunataka tupikiwe basi. That's what I was saying, Eli, Salma. That's what I was saying. That if they really want this 50-50, then give them an opportunity to participate in this non-monetary value contribution, and they will realize that there's no such thing as 50-50. There's no such thing as 50-50. A woman is a woman, and a woman does their things just as cause that we don't even struggle. We don't mind cooking, we don't mind cleaning, we don't mind being women, but men do mind being women. So what if the so-called fathers don't want to be in their children's lives? Well, in this kind of a scenario is a special case. But what I normally say, we are Africans and we are cultured. We are cultured in the sense that children belong to the community. So this man may not want to be present in the life of their child, but his brothers, his uncles may want to be present in the life of this child. Please do not deny that family that opportunity. Number two, you alone, you have your brothers and you have your cousins who are men who can play a very key role in the life of this child. And again, when we talk about single parenting, you have to be very careful with sexual abuse with children who of single parents. You have to make sure that the man that you're bringing into the life of this boy child isn't going to exploit this child and isn't going to abuse them sexually. You have to be very alert. And then you have to be careful about the introduction that this child, the things that this man you have brought into the life of this child is going to introduce this child to. If it's somebody who is always smoking, always taking alcohol, you have to be very careful to the exposure that you're giving your child. So Rhoda is asking, what if the child does not want any contact with the father? Well, a child does not have a mind to know that unless the father has done something that affected them directly. So it means you as a parent, you're playing a very key role of tarnishing the name of the father to this child. And I remember one time, and I'm going to say this very scarcely, my parents told me that my father would abuse me sexually. So that's why she kept me away from him. But I came to discover that he had raised other women, other girls, and he had never abused any of them sexually. In fact, I have 4 sisters, and he had never abused them. And I felt very bad when I grew older and I became of age. That is one of the things that I was very angry about, that this parent decided to create a toxic scenario that would take away my love for my father. So these are some of the things that as a single parent you have to be very careful with. Separate the situation from the child and allow the child to experience both parents. Unless the father is a criminal, unless the father has done anything, just know how to handle that situation. So stop telling your children about their father's mistakes that made you separate. Don't plant hatred in children, for they will grow up hating. You're teaching children hating. They're teaching children hatred. And when a child grows up, they will outgrow the lies you tell them. Like now, for example, there's very little one of my parents can really tell me about the other parent, because now I have seen both of them. I have talked to both of them. I've interacted with both of them, coming from a single parent upbringing. And I can tell you there's a lot of respect I lose for some of them because of the way they chose to deal with that situation. So you need to know that this child hajawekelewa mawe. They will grow up. and they will develop a mind of their own. And at some point, they will hold you responsible, especially mothers. They will hold you responsible for the things you told them about their father. So, yes, Ellie, another question.
Well, Nyokabi, unfortunately, time is not on our end, and we cannot exhaust this topic. As always, that's why we invite you to have these conversations and keep them going in the comment section. Share with us, share with your friends. Let us know what you think about what we are talking about. But before we say our final remarks on this topic, allow me to remind you that we are doing and currently running a very interesting crowdfunding, because we want to contribute money that will help to settle hospital bills for Mr. Joel. Mr. Joel has been admitted in hospital for the past 3-4 weeks now, and he's actually suffering from kidney complications, which have now been made even worse with COVID-19 infection, and he's been in the ICU for quite some time. The bills are mounting. And if you would love to be part of this crowdfunding, I invite you to actually send in your monies with those details on your screen. Just make sure you send in your contribution to those details. You can start with M-Pesa account number, that is 46172, and the pay bill number is 891,300. Remember, you can equally send this again on M-Pesa, and this individual there will receive your money on behalf of the family, which will be very grateful that you help offset the bills. Remember, you are watching, as always, the family edition. Before we say our final words, allow me to ask Nyokabi to say something. Nyokabi, single parents, is there something beautiful about it? And what can you tell to all those parents that are raising children by themselves?
The first thing that I would say about single parents is that it takes an exceptional kind of a strength to bring up a child on your own, moving past the emotional strife, moving past the betrayal, moving past the heartbreak, moving past whatever situation that led you to being a single parent. So the first thing is to salute them. The second thing that I've learned about single parents is that they are strong in so many ways. They are strong in so many ways, in ways that you can't even be able to put into perspective and into words. So I really appreciate single parents because I am a product of a single parent. And I can tell you, I went to the best schools. I had the best exposure in the world. So I really appreciate single parents because they go out of their way to ensure that their children have everything that they need. They even ensure that they have double of what they're supposed to have, because they always feel that because I'm a single parent, then maybe my child will lack something. They're not lacking anything because you play the role as a single parent. So first, it's just to congratulate them and to appreciate them and to tell them that it's okay to ask for help where you need help. When it comes to sensitive matters such as circumcision, please ask for help. When it comes to sensitive matters such as menstruation and those kind of sexuality awareness kind of things, please ask for help from the gender that can be able to give that help. When it comes to matters discipline, please ask for help. And counseling, please ask for help. Please do not carry this burden on your own. We are Africans, we are cultured, and we are cultured to raise children as a community. If you run to your brother, if you run to your sister, if you run to somebody who you can trust and entrust with your child, they will be able to provide you with the assistance that you need. Do not suffer on your own. The other thing, do not allow people's opinion to hold you down. People will always have an opinion. Whether you have a husband or you don't have a husband, people will always talk. They will always have something to say about you, about your situation, because people are always so concerned about other people's lives more than they are concerned about their own. Watu wanapikanga tu masufuria za wenyewe na zao hawapiki. So do not let people who are cooking your sufurias discourage you and dismay you or take you out of your goal. Stay focused, own it, ask for God's help, and ensure that you're providing this child an all-rounded kind of a development environment, and you will raise an exceptional child who will become a good person into the society, and we'll be happy to have them. So my name is Nyokabi BK Kamau, and I'm a relationship coach. You can find me on my Facebook page, Nyokabi GK Kamau. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram. You can follow me. I'm always sharing conversations there, and then you can participate. Please follow Whenever I say follow, I like to say follow because friend request zimejaa hivi. Just follow. I'll appreciate the follow. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us. We appreciate you, each and every one of you who takes this time 1 hour to come and be here with us, to have conversations with us. You post your comments, you ask your questions, you contribute your opinions. We value it and we appreciate you. So thank you so much for joining us. Sir Ele.
Well, I just want to say one thing. As a parent,
Oh, I
we are
like the way
called.
you like to say. Oh, I just want to say. You make me look like a mad woman. I just want to say one thing. Okay, say one thing, Ellie.
Kirby, tonight you're on fire. And I love the zeal that you're doing this. You're really late. For everybody that is watching tonight, I mean, we are not here to castigate and call names and show you're not better than what you are. The whole point
Yeah,
is to try to discover how best we can do these things. And that's why it's a family edition, just to
yeah,
try and figure out things together as a family of the family edition. So continue sharing your comments with us, continue exchanging with us. In fact, exchange with those people that are there so that you can be able to, you know, read and learn from other people, because sometimes you might think you know it all until you discover you don't. And for all those single parents that are doing amazing job, I want to kudos you to all those single parents that are actually trying it all their way out to make sure that they actually raise children that are more acceptable in the society. Kudos to you. And to those parents that are feel sometimes lost and they have no idea what they are up to and what they're going to turn into, don't worry, we have you covered. And your Kabi GK Kama is a beautiful mind that you need to get in contact with. In case you want to get again in contact with your Kabi, do not hesitate. Those are her contacts. She'll be there to help you out. She's a relationship coach. She talks marriage. She talks all the other things that you cannot say on this edition. And she equally talks about raising teenagers and children in various scenarios. So get in touch. You might not agree with everything we say, but then again, that is why it has to be a discussion. Having said that, allow me to remind you that tomorrow we have the Ellie's Hangout. I'll be hanging out with Kate Osita or Catherine Osita against all odds. I'll tell you this story you do not want to miss, including you, Nyokabi. So stay put, make sure you tune in, same place, same time. And above all, let's wish them a happy Easter, Nyokabi.
Oh, we forgot. Happy Easter kwa mashabiki watu wote. Happy, happy, happy Easter. May you merry, may you enjoy. Kula chapati kabisa, tutakata weight after Easter.
Thank you
Tutaenda
so much.
gym after Easter.
Okay. Again, let me just
Hata
give
kama
a
Kenya tuko
quick shout
lockdown,
out. Quick
tunakula chapati.
quick shout out to all the guests that came with us tonight. Zena Hussein, thank you so much. Lucy Kapumpum, Sarah and Jonjo, thank you so much, darling, for being there. Shish Winnie James, as always. Jekita, thank you so much. Your contributions tonight on fire. Again,
Yeah.
Shish Winnie, keep Roda. Thank you. Umetoka hospitali. Okay, she's not sick. Huyo ni daktari. And then we have Susie Loves Susie. Thank you so much, my dear, for being there. Catherine, she's actually watching us. I'm looking forward to being with you tomorrow. We have Salama Tayu. Thank you so much. First timer, and you've made the conversation worth it. Let's have who else is here? Who else is watching with us? The same suspects. I mean, the rest have decided to watch from a distance. But then again, we appreciate you for the good job. Nancy Morgan, how would I have forgotten about you, my dear? Thank you for engaging us and giving us the other perspective of the parenting. Let's just say it has been great having all of you, Godi Sejero, Rina Mbata, and all the crew team at In Heart Dam. We appreciate you. As you go for the Easter holidays, remember to sanitize, social distance, and of course, your mask on. They save life. Okay? Remember, kafyu sikupate nje. Ikikupata nje utakosa kipindi, na ukikosa kipindi utashindwa kujifunza. Having said that, have a great night. Enjoy this from the Easter edition. Good night. God bless you.
Umenisafisha ukanifisha, ukanizingira dhidi ya dhoruba, nafsi na kuamrisha, inuka umpe sifa, uhimidiwe, 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 anayetukomboa, yatuponya magonjwa, yatuvika wema nazo huruma, nanyi nawakaribisha, inukeni tumpe sifa, uhimidiwe, 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 oh uhimidiwe, uhimidiwe, oh uhimidiwe, uhimidiwe. Nafsi yangu na kuamurisha sasa, usisahau alokutendea, alikukinga, amekuokoa, huna budi ila kumuimbia, nafsi yangu na kuamurisha sasa, usisahau alokutendea, alikukinga, amekuokoa,